The old mansion stood like a decaying corpse, hidden deep in the tangled heart of the Louisiana Bayou. Its once grand facade was now shrouded in ivy and moss, the wooden beams rotting away, groaning under the weight of years. The air was thick with the smell of damp earth and decay, and the buzzing of insects filled the oppressive silence. This was where the group of paranormal investigators had come, lured by whispers of dark voodoo rituals and restless spirits. The team consisted of 4 members: Jackson, the fearless leader with a knack for uncovering hidden truths; Clara, the tech expert who believed in logic over superstition; Maria, the sensitive medium who could feel the presence of the dead; and David, the skeptic whose curiosity often got the better of him. They had heard about the mansion through a series of disturbing local legends, and were determined to uncover the truth behind the eerie stories. As they approached the mansion, Maria shivered despite the humid heat. "There's something here," she whispered, her voice trembling, "something old and angry." Jackson nodded, his expression grim. "Let's set up inside. We need to document everything." The interior of the mansion was worse than they expected. The walls were covered in strange symbols drawn in what looked like dried blood. The air was thick with the scent of mildew and something far more sinister. Clara set up her cameras and sensors while David scoffed at the atmosphere. "This place is just an old abandoned house. No ghosts here, just stories," David muttered. But Maria was already drawn to a door at the end of the hallway, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and fascination. "There's something down there," she said, pointing. They made their way to the basement, where the air grew colder with each step. The walls were lined with shelves filled with jars of strange preserved creatures and dried herbs. In the center of the room was an altar, covered in black candles and bones. The air was so thick with malevolent energy that even David looked uneasy. Clara's sensors began to beep erratically. "There's definitely something here," she said, her voice barely a whisper. Suddenly, a cold wind swept through the room, extinguishing the candles. The darkness seemed to press in on them, and a low, guttural voice echoed through the basement. "Who dares disturb my sanctuary?" A figure emerged from the shadows, a tall woman dressed in tattered robes, her eyes glowing with an unnatural light. The air around her crackled with power. "I am the guardian of this place," she hissed. "You have no right to be here." Jackson stepped forward, trying to reason with her. "We're here to document the history of this place. We mean no harm." But the voodoo priestess, her face twisted with rage, raised her arms and began to chant in ancient language. The walls seemed to pulse with her words, and the room grew colder still. Maria screamed as ghostly figures emerged from the walls, their eyes hollow and filled with sorrow. "Leave now, or face the wrath of the spirits," the priestess commanded. But it was too late. The spirits surged forward, their icy hands reaching for the investigators. Jackson tried to fight them off, but their touch was like death itself, sapping his strength. Clara's equipment shorted out, sparks flying as the spirits passed through her. David, frozen in terror, could only watch as the spirits closed in. Maria, her eyes filled with tears, turned to the priestess. "Please, we only want to understand." The priestess's expression softened for a moment, but then she shook her head. "Some things are not meant to be understood. This place is cursed, and you will be a part of it forever." With a final, blood-curdling scream, the spirits engulfed the investigators. The last thing they heard was the priestess's laughter, echoing through the darkness.